Good morning, guys and shit. It's like 10 a.m. Gonna try to do this install on the power steering cooler upgrade. I got this from eBay. It's about 20 bucks. Everything that I will use in this video, I will leave it below in the description. I got these 10 AN fittings. They convert to a barb fitting. This is a 3/8, where the 3/8 hose will go on here, which will be the hoses for the power steering. This is the bracket that I might customize because it's like flush. Once it sits like right there. It is a 10-row cooler, the same as the Mishimoto. Like, it's the exact same thing, man. Same design and everything. The only little difference is you can see the fins. They kind of look pointy at the bottom, as opposed to these are like more straight, I guess. But it's still gonna perform the exact same way, but it's $400 cheaper. There's not really much tools that you will need besides just taking off hose clamps and replacing them with newer ones, as I said earlier. Just saw a bone stock G. So I just went to Home Depot. I got this one from Lowe's. It's like a blank canvas, but I'm probably gonna return this and use this one instead because drilling is a bitch. So I'm just gonna use this since it already has the holes and it actually sits flush with the oil cooler. See, it already has the holes, so I just gotta put nuts and that'll be it. Here's the part number, information. This is the smallest size I could find. If it was smaller, it would have been cheaper, of course, but that's all they had. So I just cut down the bracket. I did use an air cutter with a compressor, of course, but this is a DIY job, so I'm not really sure what you guys can do because these are expensive tools to have. Not everyone's gonna have an air compressor and air cutter, but that is what I used. So the reason why I went with this bracket is because at the top it sits flush with the bolts, or where the bolts will go, so I don't have to do drilling. So now I gotta go to Lowe's and just find some small bolts and nuts so I can torque them down. And I do have to slightly sand this down so it's not too sharp. I'm going to prime this. We'll clean it, prime it, paint it black, gloss black, then clear coat, of course. I'm gonna take off the entire bumper so I'm able to have more space. But this is everything that I will be using. Of course, the oil cooler and the bracket that I modified. I cut this so with the existing holes, I will be able to mount this perfectly. It lines up and it's adjustable. And here are the hoses. It is a 3/8, a Gates 3/8. One is going to be longer than the other one and vice versa, because of course this is going to be closer to the power steering reservoir and this one will be farthest. So I will give you guys the length, 2 feet, and it's about 2 inches over 2 feet for the short one, and then the long one is about, by no means do I know measurements, so I apologize, but it is 2 inches short before it reaches 3 feet. Of course, you want to put Teflon tape. I used Blue Monster. I wrapped it around 3 times. Oh, and there is a trick about wrapping these things. So, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So when you're torquing this down, you're gonna spin it to the right. So you want to make sure that when you're putting the Teflon tape, you wanna lay it down and then wrap it the same way that it's going to be torqued. Because if you wrap it a different way, then when you try to torque this down, it's just gonna, it's not gonna work, because since this tape will be the opposite way of where you're torquing it, it's just gonna fall off. This is what I'm talking about, like where the threading ends. If you were to torque this way, then you're just gonna peel this off. I hope that makes sense. So I finished torquing these down by hand. I'm gonna use, I'm not sure what size this is for, like what's it called, a socket. So I'm going to use an adjustable wrench that gives you adjustability with size. Got the bumper off. So as you can see, this whole entire piping, hose, whatever, bracket, all this is gonna come off. And you can see this is where it bolts up. You have one right here, and then the one over here. So this bracket, I cut it long enough where it can reach both ends. I can't really show you that well right now because, you know, this is on, but just an example, it's gonna bolt up like that. So when you're here, you're gonna want to use a 10mm wrench. Take off the bolt. I've already taken it off, and take off this bolt. Oh, and there is another bolt over here where this bracket is. Yeah, so 1, 2, and 3. And it should be loose. Now it's just taking off the hoses from here. But you're gonna use these pliers and take off these hose clamps. I don't know if it's gonna make like a big mess, but I'm just gonna put this cardboard and see what happens. Son of a fucking, oh. So yeah, definitely it's gonna leak out for sure. I was able to catch most of it, but my dumbass left that open. Oh yeah, so it was a bitch to take off the hose. It's actually pretty damn long, as you can see. God, you guys just saw that. You guys just fuck. It's not a good day. So yeah, the hose goes way over here, and I had to pull all the way down here. I had to use some pliers, all of this shit, just trying to break it loose. I think what ended up helping was, once you kind of break it loose, you can try to add, I was using this little, not sure what to call this, but I was picking up oil and digging it inside the hose so it kind of lubricates it. So when you use this and twist it, it'll give it like more, it'll make it more smooth, and it'll be able to pop off. Yeah, just gonna use my brother's pants. He won't mind. So some idiot before me put the, so for the second hose, they put the hose clamp next to the chassis, which I can't even get to it. So I'm gonna have to remove this bolt, which I already did for this bracket. Maybe I'll be able to get through it. All right, you're gonna want to put some oil, well, you know, the power steering fluid oil, of course, in the hose, just so you lubricate it. So when you squeeze it into the other end of the pipe, and whatever you want to call it, it'll go in smoother. Because if you just put it in dry, you know, there's gonna be friction. It's not gonna go in. You know, that's why you gotta use a rubber or lube, whatever. Not that I know. So I do apologize for the lack of lighting, but you can see now the hoses are in. Now I'm just gonna tighten these clamps. All right, guys, we have finished off doing the install. As I said earlier, I put bolts and nuts in there, painted the bracket black. I messed up because I tried to clean this and I forgot this was painted. So I put brake cleaner, and of course it kind of, you know, made the paint chip a little bit. So the lines run through over here. Where the power steering is, bolted up right here. Don't forget to, you know, put the bracket back. And I did get new bolts, as you can see, these silver ones. So this is a size M61 by 16 for these ones. Just wanted to change them out from, you know, the rusted ones. She's looking like a drift build, but yeah, very easy install. I forget what the price was for everything, but I'm gonna put it up on the screen. There is a kit you can buy. I believe Stillen sells it. It's about 200 bucks, but at the end of the day, I think it's worth just doing, you know, the DIY and fabricating your own stuff. If you have, you know, the tools, of course. That is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. If you have any more questions, of course, let me know, and I'll be happy to answer them. See you guys in the next one.